So welcome everyone to yet another episode of Location Nexus where real estate stories meets data. And today's episode is going to be very special. ये मैं हमेशा बोलता हूँ आप बोलोगे, but वाकई में बहुत special है for two reasons. One, the location itself is my favorite because ससुराल वहाँ पे है तो favorite तो बनता ही है, which is Bandra. And second, I'm having two guests this time, and both of them are debutants. They are first. Yeah, can I say that?
First podcast, yes.
So that's very special.
Very.
I'm going to grill you guys. And, and number two, the gentleman immediately to my right is the one who made the building where I spent my entire childhood. I'm ridiculously nostalgic about it. And the first time we met, we spoke about it, and I was like, "Boss, आप बोले सन भी बनाई थी कोई building?" I said, "Hello."
Yes.
I lived there all my life.
Correct.
So I'm particularly supremely happy to welcome Mr. Samir Wadhwani to my podcast.
Thank you.
And his son Devansh Vadwani.
Thank you.
And we're going to have a lot of fun discussing about Bandra, Khar, Santacruz is your Karma Bhumi, if I may say so.
Yes, born and brought up
and my
there.
Janma Bhumi.
Yes.
So let's have a lot of fun.
Mine too.
Lot of conversation. Actually, your too.
Yeah.
So let me shake hands quickly and let's start talking about these. बोलते हैं ना कि Bandra is the queen of the suburbs.
Correct.
And I recently met Mr. Ashish Sheller and he said कि वो queen इसीलिए है because it is ranked top 50 in the world as a livable suburb. And I asked him why. तो बोले कि 1 second क्यों? क्योंकि जब आप grow मतलब when he was also probably young.
He's a Bandra
correct?
boy.
There was only Kolaba where you could do shopping, Kala Ghoda, Kolaba and Bandra. बचपन से सारी shopping Bandra में की है. The best schools and colleges and engineering schools were here. And now you have everything else also. You have BKC. The center gravity of Bombay has moved from Nariman Point to Bandra now. We can all agree on that.
Sure, yes.
It happens to every big city in the world. 20-25 साल में cities move their CBDs and Bombay's happened the same. Like Delhi moved to Gurgaon, Nariman Point moved to BKC, right? Bandra has bullet train. Bandra has the sea link, I call it the Golden Gate Bridge. Bandra has the Western Express Highway. Bandra has retail. Bandra has the ocean view. I can go on and on and on. Bandra has everything. So this is the center, close to the airport.
It has the lanes that like take you away from the hustle and bustle of Mumbai. Like sometimes I feel like I'm in Goa.
Oh!
Like you know the by-lanes
अरे
of
हमें भी बताओ
Rizvi?
कहाँ है गोवा भाई?
अरे by-lanes of Rizvi आप जाओ देखो. The
I love
cafes,
सबको.
the cafe culture, the breeze that hits you sometimes on a Sunday morning. If you go there, you feel like I'm not in Mumbai anymore.
Nice. So chalo. So let me begin with you, sir.
Yeah.
Because as I said, extremely nostalgic to meet you. So tell me, do you see yourself in a situation where you'll actually end up redeveloping a building जो आपने खुद ने बनाई है? It's like, you know, Akshay Kumar doing that very very popular song from Mohra, तू चीज बड़ी है मस्त मस्त. It's like
It's like a
acting.
remake.
हाँ, it's like मैं पहले में भी मैं था, second में भी मैं ही हूँ. It's like अमिताभ बच्चन से शोले में पहले में भी मैं था, second में भी मैं ही हूँ.
सही है.
How does that feel?
That feels good. It's a great feeling to know that you've lived there. I didn't know that, but now it's great to know that. But yeah, we always quote for our own buildings quite often, and we are in that process of redeveloping our own projects as well.
So
yes.
what would you do different what you did 30-40 years back? Give me Samir Wadhwani 30-40 years back and Samir Wadhwani today.
So if you go back when I started my career with my dad was also a developer.
Sure.
And in the early 80s when I joined him, what was Bandra Khar Santacruz? It was ground and two structures. Today, what we did that time was make ground and two structures into 7-storied buildings.
Yeah.
Okay. Today, all these 7-storied buildings are all going under redevelopment again.
Yeah.
So, if you had to make it completely different, is to retain the soul of the project and have some emotion, because you have people who've lived there for 50 years.
Sure.
And they are coming back. So they have that ethos of, you know, comradeship and community living. So it's nice. It's
So can I say this? That time, they were all 2 beds.
yeah.
Now, they're, if not 4, they're 3. Or the other 5.
So I think
Is that one change at least?
they're larger flats are more in demand. It's driven by demand supply. So I think Bandra Khar is more larger flats.
Definitely.
Bigger, more luxury.
Yeah.
And
no, so tell me more luxury. What is your definition of luxury? Khali bade homes is luxury?
No. Luxury is very different. Luxury is not just expensive marble and wood.
Yeah.
Okay, it cannot be that. Luxury is something which you have to live the luxurious life to really develop something luxurious. So it's a very subjective term.
Yeah.
And it can change with everybody's individual opinion.
When my dad bought Sunbeam,
Yes.
right, that's where I was spent pretty much all my childhood. We bought it in, no, well, I should not say we, he bought it in 1980
Correct.
at 1,000 rupees a square foot.
Right.
When we sold it in, and I should look at all my viewers as well to say this. This is serious real estate wealth. How wealth has been created in real estate. 1980, 1,000 rupiah. 2000 when I sold it, right? Dad, with dad of course. That time it was 10,000 rupees.
Right.
So 20 years, 10x.
Right.
And now we are at Mahavir, which also we might sell because we have taken another apartment at Ville Parle. Today the price, in 25 years now, right, 2000 to 2025, it's 60,000. Can I say that?
Yes, you can assume that.
You can take an average.
Yeah. So 6 times.
Amazing.
First 20 years, 10x. Next 25 years, 6x. Where is this going?
The trajectory
Has to, right? Because there's a base effect.
100%.
You can't keep 1 rupee ka 2 rupiah is 100%. 2 rupiah ka 3 rupees is not 100%, 50%.
Correct.
So the
correct.
percentage will reduce. But I'm just trying to hint at the wealth you guys have created for your consumers or your home buyers was ridiculous in the 1990s, 2000s.
Yes, those days were different. I mean, that time, costing was different. Plain Jane buildings. Today, you need a lot more when you need to sell. You need your own full, you have a team to sell. So things have changed since then and now. And that time, Bandra was, what was Bandra? I've seen it grow block to block, block by block. The change has been block by block. And it was like small cottages. Now they are cottages to concrete. So it's all changed now.
So, but can I also ask you this? Santacruz and Khar. Are there more Marwadis and Gujaratis and Jains versus Bandra is more cosmopolitan, and I like that.
No, it's definitely cosmopolitan.
Compared to Bandra,
Yes.
compared to Khar and Santacruz.
I think Santacruz Khar, Santacruz is more Gujarati and Marwadi and Sindhi sort of. Khar is more Sindhi, of course. But I think Bandra is very cosmopolitan.
Which is great.
Which is very good. Yes.
And the other thing about Bandra is, and I again want to say this with a lot of data because मेरे साथ बात करोगे तो data तो आता ही रहेगा, right? So I think Bandra has 3 prices.
Right.
And I call it the most heterogeneous micro market in Bombay. So you've got the Bandra station and the Talav side, which is probably less than 40,000 rupees a square foot.
Correct.
Then you've got the not sea facing, not Carter roads, not Turner roads, not the Taj Lands End area, the Salman and the Shah Rukh areas. That would be at 60, 65. Maybe somebody great would be at 70. And then you've got the sea facing flats, which can even touch 1 lakh rupees.
Oh,
ये क्या है ये? This doesn't happen in a single micro market. From a 40 to over 1 lakh, that's like ridiculously heterogeneous, not so common in Bombay. Any comments?
I think
ये हमेशा से ऐसा था? ये हमेशा से ऐसा था?
I think when you look at the price, it's very plot sensitive. You might have a plot 100 meters, 200 meters in the same vicinity, claiming a large marginal difference in price, right? It comes with the gentry that's living in the building, of course, the square footage, also the builder who made it, right? The guy who's making it, and also the location. So if you go to see Carter Road, the prices, like you said, sea facing are 1 lakh, but you go right behind that, right? Rizvi College, it drops down directly to 60, 65, 70, right? And that is because of that small catchment of area, the gentry that travels in and out of it, right? That's what causes that drop. So it's not only one factor that can create a price, it's an accumulation of maybe 5, 10 factors that then create that price. For a Carter Road, you'll see a developer building in Carter Road compared to a developer building in Rizvi. His resume and his finish will be different. The feasibility of the project will be different. Hence, the quality of materials and thought behind the project will be different, right? And that's what creates the price.
कुछ 25 साल से मैं रियल एस्टेट कर रहा हूँ.
जी.
Right from my JLL days to today, we've always taught our children, and I go to these colleges to also give lectures. Location, location, location. I'm going to start with you first.
Yes.
Has that changed? Well, I have a very strong opinion on it, but I want to hear your opinion first.
See, Mumbai as a city, I don't know if maybe I've heard you say it, but it's a well-known fact that the infrastructure compared to the type of buildings is a large contrast, right? You might live in a building that has the best amenities, the best floor plate, the best gentry, but you'll go down and there'll be a slum, right? Right? So, location does matter, but good quality work with good finish and intent while creating a product matters as equally as location.
So one second. So let me summarize it for you. So you're saying location is important, fine, which is why there is a Bandra
100%.
and there's a Kandivali
Right.
and there is a Chembur.
100%.
Chalo. But you also mentioned the product has to be relevant. Okay. You also mentioned delivery has to be on time.
100%.
In a way, which is the
Yeah.
branding that you got into the whole thing. And the product has to be made for the consumer. Study the
100%.
market. It would be very different between a Chembur and a Bandra and a Kandivali.
No, absolutely, completely.
You can't do a cookie cutter.
So it's a combination of location and your product mix, what you can deliver on time and your reputation in the market to command a price.
Also, a lot of people look at the gentry that's already living in the building. Who am I going to live around, right? In cities that expand, not tall but sideways, it's who am I going to live next to. But over here, it's who am I going to live above or below, right? And that matters a lot. Your kids interact with those families.
Yeah.
You have to live around them. Like societies get into the worst fights. Neighbors can go to it's hatred is not a very calm
So it can
or
get very
easy
toxic.
word. It can be very toxic and can then go and affect your lives. Like if you go to see in court today, majority litigations are society litigations, right? And developers go in and then try to solve that as a way of trying to get a development up. That's happening a lot, right? So through that experience, I've realized that gentry matters a lot to the sale, for the sale component as well as for the rehab component, especially in redevelopment.
नहीं ये सही बोला एकदम. But as a developer, if I'm not the usual suspects of, let's say, Santacruz and Khar for a second, if I'm not Marwadi, I'm not Gujarati, I'm not Jain, and I'm not Sindhi, you won't sell me your apartment.
No, of
Let me ask you a
course.
trick question. See, it's not easy. Easier said than done. It's not so easy.
I like your question, actually. It's not that. I will sell you that apartment, right? But it's a personal choice of who wants to live where, and we can't change that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, our market is set that way. I will sell my apartment to someone who I believe wants to live that
So it's
lifestyle.
not
And no one will approach me to buy it unless they want to stay there.
Correct. So it's not only the community, it's also the pedigree, it's also the education, all of that matters as well.
Of course.
कहाँ आप काम करते हो?
You're buying a flat, you're spending your life savings or majority of your, like a large chunk of money, 8, 10, 15 crores of rupees to get a home for you and your family, not just for the next 5 years, for the next 10, 15 years,
sure.
right? Your kids are going to grow up, they're going to play with people in the neighborhood, going to make friends there, going to live their lives there, and that's what's going to shape them. So a home is built by the people who live in it, right? I could make the best looking home in the world, but the people who live in it could make it the worst, right?
No.
It's an accumulation of everything that makes a home livable, luxurious, etc. Right?
And Mr. Scheller said Bandra is the most livable place. So
I
now it's
agree
all
with
your responsibility as developers to make it even more livable.
I
But
agree
coming to
with
that
you.
question which he hijacked for a second, ये Bandra हमेशा से ऐसा heterogeneous था?
Always.
Such a large difference?
Yes.
The
there
difference
was a difference. So, as you said, it's location, but there's a slight twist now. Is that if the building in a good location is not up to the mark, you don't get pricing.
But then if it's a great, so you're saying, hold on.
So
You're
it's a
saying
combination.
bad building in a good location,
It's a combination.
but a very good building in a bad location still might.
Yes. So I would say that you look at Lower Parel. I mean, you look at this building called Victoria or whatever. You know, there are so many other buildings. Your access is not good. You look at Palais Royal. the access is not the very best location for, the best access. So but the price is so high.
Sure.
So it's not only location, it's also the building.
Yeah. So you've introduced a new aspect over there called access is also very important.
Access is the most important.
And coming back to data and research, there are a lot of CXOs that work in BKC.
Right.
Right. BKC का आज अगर grade A आप office stock देखोगे, it's approximately 17 million square feet. And the global average or the India average of कि हर 700-800 square feet में एक CXO तो होता ही है. CTO, CEO, CMO, whoever they are.
Like a
right?
C-suite person, right?
Correct. Yeah. Another 7 to 8 million is coming into BKC. The Japs are making something. They're making two big large projects there.
Yes.
Right?
Prestige
Many
is doing
more.
a lot of work. Adani.
तो इसका मतलब another 3,000 people will start working there. तो आपको तो बहुत घर बनाने हैं बैंड्रा में, क्योंकि BKC तो घर है ही नहीं. They're all going to stay in Bandra West only.
You're right.
Absolutely.
That belt, the micro market of Khar, Bandra, Santacruz yet has potential. As you said earlier, that 1,000 rupees became 20,000 and now 20,000 becomes 60, but 60 ka kya hoga? So it's all a demand supply issue, and where will these people go? They're not going to go to South Mumbai.
No, they can't, because we just agreed that every infrastructure project of Bombay starts and ends at Bandra.
Right.
अरे सब गिन लो ना, सारे के सारे यही हैं, तो आपको यहीं पे रहना पड़ेगा. And BKC is here.
One thing that we've spoken about that I want to shed light on through this conversation is that yes, the influx is coming, but let's just look at the avenues, right? For an example, around the avenues in one block or two blocks, you'll see between 4, 5, 6 buildings under construction, right? Those 4, 5 buildings, let's say, average between 2 and 3 floors to 7 and 8 floors are 5 floors. Average 2 or 3 families per floor, right? So there were 10 to 15 families living on that plot in that neighborhood. Now those buildings are becoming 20 floors, 17 floors. The amount of families from 10 becomes 20, 25. Multiply that by 5, 6 buildings. So the amount of people living in one vicinity is going to become so much more and so dense that the roads, the retail around it, the cafes around it have to then comply with that much influx, right? So I think that is going to be a very big issue.
So you're saying Bandra might probably already has traffic problem and it will become the same lower parel issue with super tall buildings, buildings superb, ghar even better, but जैसे ही नीचे उतरे, there's no place for the car to move.
There is an infrastructure issue for sure. We need to address that.
आप कैसे करोगे? That's the government has to do it.
I mean to say the government, obviously.
I think what he meant to say, we as a citizen.
As a city, as a state have to worry about it. नहीं तो hold on, वहाँ पे तो सब 50 साल की बिल्डिंग बन रही हैं.
I do think that the coastal road and the metro and those things will make like people who use Bandra as a facility to transit, that will reduce. So maybe it's a up and down game. Like if you're going from a Worli to Andheri, Versova, Lokhandwala, you won't stop through Bandra, right? In the coming years, you can take the metro, you can take the coastal road, the sea link. So that will help us. But it has to be done in a timely manner.
Sure.
So for a bit, people will really have bad things to say about Bandra, but eventually it will become what it is set out to be, right?
So what's the height situation in Bandra now? वहाँ तो सब 50 वाली की बिल्डिंग है across the bay, if I can say so.
Yes.
इस तरफ, what's the height?
I think it's we are capped at 70 meters.
So you're still under the क्या बोलते हैं, the funnel, the edges of the funnel.
No, it's not the funnel. There are other regulatory aspects that you need to look at, because typically land parcels in Khar, Bandra, Santacruz close to 1,000 meters, give or take 20%.
Average.
So given the size and the regulations, and if you put it together, it makes little sense to go beyond 70 meters. You can go even to 130, but that's not an issue. But
you need the road width, you need the plot size. There are other aspects to it. This is not Dubai, this is not Hyderabad.
It's more regulatory.
So if you go above 70 meters, for example, you need to have 3 lifts. Otherwise, below that, you need to have 2 lifts. And 2 staircases. So then your floor plate decreases. If your plot size is only this much, then you have
or go cluster.
Then go cluster. That is honestly
cluster, then it's a game changer then.
100%.
So the right side something wrong, right? Some time back, कि skyline इस तरफ है. It's a matter of time. The skyline will move to the other side of the bay. Might not happen.
No, I mean,
as the 50-story buildings that side.
when you go to see reclamation, which could create a skyline coming in from Worli, from the coastal
Because that's
road,
cluster
right?
development, that's why.
It's a cluster, it's larger plots of land, lots of slum rehabilitation, SRAs going on there. So that's why those will be taller. But if you go to the inner bylanes of cars, Santacruz comes in the funnel, right? Bandra, most of those buildings will be 70-meter buildings because of plot constraints mainly.
No, but then we should still appreciate the aviation, right? जब मैं बड़ा हो रहा था, you made a 7-story building.
Yes.
Now you're making
No.
14-story building.
Amazing.
तो ऐसा तो नहीं कि aircrafts थोड़े जल्दी से take off ले लेते हैं.
वैसा नहीं।
You know, like the Boeing, what is it, Dreamliner? It used to go like this.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? ऐसा तो है नहीं.
ये मेरे
तो
टाइम के पहले था.
So they just being kind to you guys as developers. I mean,
No, I think there's nothing much change. It was earlier also 70 meters, now also 70 meters. It's just the choice that you can make. And then the FSI has gone up. The main thing what I'm referring to, the FSI.
Sure.
Earlier FSI was what, 2 or maybe 1.4.
Sure.
That time that the market was of floating FSI, if you remember, during the Sunbeam time.
Yeah,
So FSI was 1.4 consumed.
नहीं तभी तो मैं बहुत छोटा था. But yeah. So
I clearly remember that there were 4 developers in Khar, Bandra, Santacruz. Today there are 50.
sure.
At that time,
So
there was
more
that-
competition for you, compared to what he's basically saying.
Definitely. But competition.
He's putting you in a tighter spot.
competition makes you want to be better, right?
And that's exactly will come when we start focusing on. Actually, wait a second. Before that, why Vaayu Realty? May I please know? Then there's the story behind that name.
Right.
Or was it Papa ने रखा था मुझे नहीं
I'll tell
पता.
you, nahi. The story is that we are a 61-year-old company today, right? 3rd generation into the business. We started in 1961-62.
Wow.
And it was, the name was PR, Prahlad Rai Ramcha.
Oh.
And it was coined as PR from my grandfather's name.
Wow.
And that's how we got the term PR. And we've been PR for a very, very long time. And it has a legacy as well. And the iconic building on Linking Road is Prahlad, which was from my grandfather's name. And
That's truly iconic, by the way.
yes. And now I think we are rebranding, reimagining.
So Vaayu is what you've come up with.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I said it reverse then. So let me turn this side. Why that इतना US से पढ़ के आके इतना simple नाम Vaayu? कुछ ऐसा exotic, exquisite, those difficult name रखना चाहिए था.
I think Vaayu has a very good ring to it first. It was mainly done to reposition ourselves from the past 60 years, because I feel like the development industry, most developers, of course there are people who are shining in their own light, but most developers have taken a blueprint of buildings and just copy pasted them on different plots, right? Creating Vaayu was the main reason was to create a symbol of development that develops with intent, right? And by intent, what I mean is we don't only develop to put a structure up and sell it, right? We develop to put a structure up that has meaning behind it, that has intent behind it, that has design that lasts for 10-15 years, right? And that also doesn't only build for people but builds for the planet, right? So that
me
was
more
the
about
main
this.
reason. If you see our tagline, Vaayu, the wind of change, the wind of change is a symbol to show the world that yes, times are changing, people are changing, developments have to change. The intent by which a developer builds has to change, right?
No, young man, one second. So I want you to connect Vaayu with this, but एक second.
Okay.
I visit a lot of projects. Just believe me.
I believe you.
Just to inspect them. फिर people call me कि बाबा आप आके देखिए. आपने तो 5,000 प्रोजेक्ट देखे हैं, दिल्ली में देखे हैं, हैदराबाद में देखे हैं. तो tell us what's missing, what should be. So I'm going to make मेरे पास बैंक्वेट भी है, छोटा सा. मेरे पास स्विमिंग पूल भी है. मेरे पास नाना नानी के लिए जगह भी है बैठने के लिए. मेरे पास बैल्कनी भी है जो सनबीम में थी, फिर बैल्कनी हट गई, फिर वापस आ गई. राइट, झूला के जब. Now what will Devansh do separately to make that project, as you said, more sustainable, more livable, more for the future? तो ये सब तो है, सब बैंड्रा में बहुत प्रोजेक्ट्स में. What's new?
I'll give you an example of a building in Bandra. I forget the name, was it Bhole? Yeah, it fell a couple years ago, right? And then a developer took it and rebuilt it. Why did it fall?
Was it dilapidated? Was it like
Yeah.
60 years old?
It was old. It was
an old building.
It was a very old building. I don't know how long it was. I don't know why it fell or what the reason was. But can't that be a sign that developers should build with more intent? They should test the concrete that they're using to the extent where they know and they can give a guarantee that it will last for so long, right? And after this, you have to change it. Those things need to be, looked at. Not only that, if you see Mumbai, Delhi also for the matter of fact, the air quality is absolutely disgusting, right? Buildings are made just to stand, look good, right? They're not made to function. And what I mean by that is developers can integrate solar, right? In Bandra, they can integrate rainwater harvesting has become a norm now. They can integrate cool roofing. They can integrate smart facades that let lesser heat enter your building, right? They can integrate dual plumbing. They can integrate sewage water treatment plants, air purifiers, more green spaces in the building. And these are just things that make a green building. I'm not telling you something that the world doesn't know. I'm telling you something that no developer in Bandra today isn't doing. Everyone should do it because it makes the lives of people living in it easier. Your maintenance costs will come less. There's more green space around you. The AQI of your plot will decrease. At the same time, you're also building for the planet, right? People might laugh at me and say that yes, you're using sustainability as a buzzword and as this and as that, right? But the intent of what you do matters, and that's what your product will speak for, right? So our intent is to build spaces that think about all stakeholders involved, including the city, right? So that is our intent.
But that's outstanding, Devansh. One second. You're telling me कि मेरे brochure में मैं advertise करेगा banquet, swimming pool, amazing elevators, and तेरे brochure में तो advertise करेगा better AQI, solar, lower costs. That's a alien brochure, a very unique brochure. You've just landed from the space. What is happening?
So the first time we met, I remember you told me कहाँ से आया है तू? क्यों कर रहा है?
हाँ.
Right.
सब तेरे खर्च होने वाला है.
हाँ, cost is mine. But it's a cost that is necessary if you go to the West, right? These things in the West, in the States, in Canada are norms, right? They're mandated by the government, right? Obviously, each regulation to its own, we don't need to get in that, but they are norms, right? Every developer in the West looks at this as, it's not an add-on, it's a must.
It's a must.
Right? It's not an add-on. I don't want a premium or want to be seen as better than anyone else. I am doing this so that I can send a message to the world that it's a must.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Devansh, you cannot leave this podcast without telling me when is the first Devansh Vaayu Realty project being launched, and uska pehla brochure with all of these wonderful things has to come to me.
Done.
Promise?
Promise.
Batao.
I'll give
Tell
you
me more.
family and friend discount there.
when is the Devansh project getting launched?
So our first project, Vaayu 1, which is in the Almeida Park circle, it's one of 18 plots that face the park. As you said, location. So it's an amazing location. Next year, 2026, first half of the year. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, looking forward to show the world our vision. And it's not a Devansh Vadwani project, it is a Vaayu project.
Nice.
Devansh Vadwani isn't making it, it's a team effort. A lot of sustainable and engineers, architects, a lot of my professors from the University of Toronto have been involved in creating the blueprint for this project, right? This project will create a blueprint for Khar, Bandra, Santacruz, and how to integrate sustainability into every project, not just mine, right? That is my vision and that is my want. So.
And if I may ask, how old are you?
I'm 22.
How does a 22-year-old know all these things? And isn't Bombay a very difficult market with all the approvals?
It is. What's up?
Are you swimming in a lake of sharks? Are you the youngest credai or non-credai developer? Can I announce that? Can you announce it,
I
sir?
don't know if there's a 20-year-old or 21-year-old who's doing the same thing as me, but I am 22, as you said. I am ambitious. but at the same time I'm realistic. So I've had the blessings and the opportunity to live in a family and grow up around a family that has been developing for the last 60 years, right? My grandfather made buildings, my father made buildings, and I'm going to be making buildings, right? Of course, with the help of my father. So growing up on sites, realizing the impact that a structure has on its stakeholders very young as a child, initially sparked my want to make buildings as well. I don't know if you remember that, but when I was a child, I was maybe like 8, 9 years old. I used to take blocks and make like buildings taller than me also. So the passion is there, of course.
Been passionate about real estate.
Yeah.
मतलब इतना लेगो का धंधा बढ़ाया हाँ और अब
It is what it is, but I had the opportunity to know what I want to do very young. So my schooling, I went to the University of Toronto where I learned how to make, design green buildings, make them feasible. My professors were architects who write building code for the country of Canada, right? So learning from them, learning from my dad putting me in the right places at the right time, helping me, do the right internships. I had a stint at Vaayu Realty, I had a stint at HDFC Limited as well, to make me understand the landscape of what's happening, right? No one can wake up and just want to be a developer. It's the barrier of entry to be a developer is very high. And I've just been fortunate to be born where I am, to have that opportunity. And that's where I feel like I have a responsibility, right? My responsibility is towards people, it's towards the planet, it's towards stakeholders, it's towards channel partners, it's towards everyone in the industry. It could be suppliers, it could be people living in my buildings, it could be people helping me make my buildings, right? It's to do it the right way, because I've seen it happen over the last 60
Including
years.
your investors.
Of course.
Most importantly.
Oh, absolutely. No, but this, your investors, your people whom you sell, customers, everybody.
Absolutely.
But it seems like a lot of responsibility on these young shoulders. 60-year-old legacy, grandfather, father, and then you.
Yeah.
Usko आगे बढ़ाना है. And I always say that there's a lot of commonality between Bollywood and real estate. मैं सच्ची बहुत बार बोलता हूँ ये, and I want to bring this up to you also. Not many grandfathers and fathers के बच्चे have done very well in the film industry. Very few, right? If you look at Dilip Kumar, nothing happened. Devana, nothing happened. Raj Kapoor also had very few children, or children's children, which did well. So I wish you super all the best, because
Really appreciate it.
Legacies built over 60 years is not a joke.
Not at all.
And usko आगे बढ़ाना is just a lot of responsibility and weight on those shoulders. So any help you would need, I'm sure you'll reach out to. And uncle बोल के सबसे काम करवा लेना. Seriously, you've got the right perfect age. सबको अंकल आंटी बनवा के get your work done.
थोड़ा मदद कर दो.
So I've given him the freedom as well. I've been more than, I've given him the freedom to work and think freely. I think that's very important for kids of nowadays to have their own independent thinking and not be,
Confined,
controlled.
yeah.
So that was one of my, I would say, given him the freedom to do what he wants and explore it.
And India is so young. Yesterday or day before yesterday I was at an event and वहाँ पे मैंने उसको पूछा तुम स्कूल में पढ़ते हो, तुम क्या कर रहे हो यहाँ पे? मतलब वो मूंछ भी नहीं थी, दाढ़ी भी नहीं थी, कुछ भी नहीं था. What I'm trying to say is young developers making apartments for young India. That's what we want, right? Because they understand what they want more than definitely me.
So
right, I'm still कि बाबा parking ऐसी होनी चाहिए, वो घर ऐसा होना चाहिए, balcony होनी चाहिए, where I was born.
But I think that's also...
I'll give him all the blame.
in fact, parking is one thing that sells your project, I think. In Bandra, Santacruz, especially, parking is so important.
So that's still important.
It's so important. The number of people living in a house is decreasing, the amount of cars in that building are increasing.
So is that the new face of luxury?
What?
आपने luxury की बात की. Is parking and surface parking and no ramps, no stack, and all that. Is that the new face of luxury?
That is one of them for sure.
It's a prerequisite.
It's a.
But वो तो बनाता तो कोई भी नहीं, आप बोलते हो. Maybe Vaayu will make it. But there's so many projects in Santacruz, Bandra, where you've got stack, you've got car lift, you've got tower.
You can't blame only developers for that. It's because regulations are tight, right? As well as needs are very high. So to accommodate for parking, to accommodate in 500-meter plots, 600, 700-meter plots, then stack comes in, puzzle comes in, parking towers come in, right? So, I mean, everything has an opportunity cost, right, at the end of the day. But then again, when you go to sell complete luxury, what is luxury? It makes your life easier, right? Entering your building, just taking a turn, leaving your car and getting out saves your time, right? Time is money at the end of the day. Everyone says that. So that is what that surface parking creates, that luxurious experience of saving you time. It lets you think about things that are important in your life. Arey, gaadi niche bulane ka and I have to go to work, I have to wait 10 minutes. I don't want to think about that when I leave for work.
So if you can allow me to disagree for a second.
Okay.
There are some developers who come on this chair and they've said कि I'll give you valet. I will not waste your time. गाड़ी छोड़ दो, चले जाओ घर पे. मैं पार्क करवा दूंगा. मैं वॉश भी करवा दूंगा.
हाँ, आप नीचे आ रहे हो. ऑफिस 10 बजे निकलना है आपको. You have to think at 9:45 के गाड़ी नीचे बुलाने का मुझे. Your mind is still going through that process.
I agree with you, but I'm just giving you a perspective that
no, obviously.
You know, the same chair. That's the answer I got.
But today you come down, you sit in your car and leave. You don't need to apply your mind, right? Here you say, okay, मैंने driver बुलाया, valet को phone किया, बोलो 15 मिनट में मैं आ रहा हूँ. So it's a process.
Sure.
But nobody wants to do that.
And then again, you have to go through that process in places where there's no other option. But if there's an option, then developers should go that route. And I'm sure they do. It's not that they don't.
So then can I assume that the Vaayu 1 will have surface parking?
Of course.
Will have the best of the basements or whatever. We'll find out when the launch happens. We don't want to spill the beans right now.
Definitely.
But yeah, I'm completely with you. I think actually किसी ने मुझे ना कुछ टाइम पहले पूछा था. I'm going to ask this question to you, and either one can answer, or both can give their own different perspectives if they're different. The question asked to me was कि recently Mumbai में 1 crore का parking बिका. Can that happen? Is that true? One parking for 1 crore. Usually Santacruz Bandra में कितना 15 लाख 20 लाख कितना होता है?
लाखों में जाता है.
25 से ज़्यादा वही.
तो 1 करोड़ का बिका. Your perspective? Any comments?
कहाँ पे बिका?
It's possible.
South Bombay.
South Bombay में.
हाँ, possible.
Was it Colaba area?
Not in this area. Not in this
area.
नहीं. As Devansh correctly said, number of people in houses are decreasing. Cars are going high.
अरे everybody has 2-3 cars. मुझे तो लगता है वो खुद के पास है, उसके वो मेड के पास भी गाड़ी है कांदा बटाटा खरीदने के लिए.
GST कम हो गया तो गाड़ी बढ़ गए.
ओके नहीं, बट आपने मुझे पर्सपेक्टिव में 1 करोड़ का पार्किंग हो सकता है.
Joint families are naturally becoming separated. Back in the day, grandparents, 3 kids of theirs and their families lived in one home and shared 4 cars.
Sure.
Now that family is switching into 5 homes of 4 or 3, right? And all have 3 cars, right? So obviously cars are increasing, and back in the day the developers didn't have the foresight to think of this because they thought we are Indian, हम लोग तो साथ में ही रहेंगे, right? That's our culture. But now people are taking different floors and in the same building and living in that joint family.
And that's
setting.
one of the big reasons for those fights in society that you mentioned earlier. Seriously, because too much of supply, very little. मतलब too much of supply मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा गाड़ियाँ हैं और जगह कम है.
और गाड़ी का साइज भी बड़ा हो रहा है. पार्किंग छोटा हो रहा है.
सबको भी चाहिए. Nobody wants sedans.
Correct. But okay, एक सेकंड अभी बहुत अच्छी बातें हो गई. One difficult question to both gentlemen.
Yes.
I live in Santacruz. मैं अगर walk पे भी निकलता हूँ सुबह, normal 1.5 hour walk, slight jog, so I can reach Bandra, and then I have to come back by rickshaw or come back. In those gullies, the avenues / the 17th road, this road, that road, are beautifully designed. At least there's some semblance to it, in Santacruz Khar, Bandra. I can count on my finger, तो बहुत कम पड़ेंगे, but at least 100 plus redevelopments happening.
Correct.
Easy.
And our numbers are showing this trio. The trio.
It's one market in my eyes.
Yeah. Sells about 2,000 apartments a year. And launch हो रहे हैं with this 100 redevelopments happening. Or maybe more, 100 तो मैंने गिने. और तो कितने और होंगे भगवान मालिक है.
अभी launch हो गए और 50 हो जाएंगे एक साल में.
Are you getting worried about oversupply?
Not really. So
May I know
earlier,
why?
as you said, you
Yes.
said there are those CEOs, CTOs that are coming to BKC. Kahan jayenge hum log? Number one. Actually, if you see, you're a numbers guy, but I'm looking at it a little differently, that you have redevelopment of buildings wherein, you have, say, 200 buildings in Khar, Bandra, Santacruz. But in that one building, out of the 200, there are the people who are coming back. So what is your free sale portion? Free sale portion, आधा building है. Or you're giving 60% back or 50% back to the members. So what is the real supply in the market? So there's an optical illusion that 200 building बन रहे इतना माल आने वाला है. Actually नहीं है वो.
Yeah.
If we come to a number, if we do a number crunch as to what is the real supply and what is the real demand. Demand is your BKC. Maybe the BKC guys will go to South Mumbai. You never know.
With the coastal, it can be.
They can live in
exactly.
Varsova also. Yeah.
So today, I would say that Mumbai is becoming location agnostic. You can be in Kandivali and work in Nerman Point. So that's also okay.
थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो गया, but ठीक है, we'll hear you.
वही 45 minutes लगेगा. 45 minutes लगेगा. But coming back to your question, I think there is an offtake in supply. I mean, in demand as well.
Okay, let me rephrase. I'll give you that. But every apartment is $1 million.
Yeah.
Every apartment is, मतलब कोई भी 6, 7, 8 के नीचे तो होता ही नहीं है. Right? कोई 2 bedroom तो बनाता ही नहीं है.
So I'll tell
It's
you
only
how.
3 and 4. Plus jodis.
I have another take.
Yes.
So, rightfully so, supply is very high. Rightfully for people are looking for homes like the C-suite individuals, etc., like my dad said. And let's not, push a narrative to the people that is incorrect. A lot of developers are fearful of oversupply, right? And that is a fact. We can't escape from it. But one thing about Khar, Bandra, Santacruz, like Mr. Shailaj said, that your experience of living in that locality is something that you will never get anywhere else, in Mumbai at least. You have an amazing retail road, linking road, right? Everything you want is there. You have an amazing culture, cafe culture that you wouldn't see anywhere else. People from like all over Mumbai come to our cafes and to our restaurants, right? And that's because it gives you a feeling, like a feeling of ease, right? Also, Bandra, Khar, Santacruz is a very aspirational market, right? The people who live there have a certain, way and liking, right? And that's what creates these types of cafes and creates roads like Linking Road. So that's why Khar, Bandra, Santacruz will be able to take in that supply. It's because of the ethos created around it, right? People who live in South Mumbai will never come to the Bandra side, right? The same way people who live in Bandra, Khar and Santacruz will never want to go to South Mumbai, right? It's because of these things, right? So the aspirational aspect of Bandra is what keeps its charm and keeps it, steady.
No, I would completely agree with every word both of you said. Best of the clubs are here. अगर मैं इसमें जू भी ऐड कर दूं, if you may allow me to just go up to the, because वो जैसे लिंकिंग रोड पहले बचपन में सिर्फ बैंड्रा में था, फिर अब वो खार, सैंटाक्रूज, जू तक पहुंच गया है.
अभी तो वो मार्क्स एंड स्पेंसर के बिल्डिंग के आगे भी बन रहा है.
Correct.
H&M आ गया है.
Correct. So, if you were to just take that whole, add this fourth cousin into the trio, then you've covered the best of Bombay, right? Basically. The best of cafes, the best of hotels, the best of clubs. The Bandra Club, the Khar Gymkhana, the Juhu.
But not the best of buildings.
In what sense? Tall? Sea view bhi hai? In what sense?
Look at buildings coming up in Vadwani, for example, right? The cost to make them, not looking at regulations, not looking at land, just facade, interiors, those are much more costly to make, and there's a reason for that, right? I feel like in Juhu, Bandra, Santacruz, developers to take shortcut, make money on the margins, etc. But that has to change, right? Personally, that's my opinion, that buildings can be much better in our little area.
Yes, hold on. Since you compared Worli and Bandra, and they're the two ends of the Golden Bridge.
Correct.
Right? Idhar, khatam. 5 minutes away now.
Right.
Super tall buildings. Is that the only reason why they're so expensive? Or are they giving better marble, better faucets, better of everything?
I think the quality of construction is much better on that side.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I would say the land
Select
parcel
developers.
sizes are bigger.
select developers, maybe because the land parcel is bigger, you're getting more FSI, road width is larger, hence it becomes more feasible. But if we're looking at Bandra and the way it's shifting, developments have to shift.
But that's a shame, क्योंकि सारे कैफे यहाँ हैं, सारे क्लब यहाँ हैं,
तो सारे लोग यहाँ
सारा रिटेल यहाँ है, वहाँ तो सच्ची वर्ली में कुछ नहीं है, मतलब comparatively है, but okay, you don't have 50-story buildings, but you have still 20-story buildings. You can actually do wonders here.
100%.
And वहाँ पे अगर 1 lakh, ठीक है, we the Naman building को छोड़ देते हैं. Let's forget about the top 2-3 buildings. But otherwise, they're also 1,20,000. Here also is 1,20,000.
Yes.
So it's actually a shame if they're not making equally good or equally.
That's going to happen.
In fact,
it's a matter of time. I think
project in Juhu that I think will change the narrative is the Lodha luxury
or the
project.
embassy
Or the embassy. Yeah, those ones are like those can change the narrative, and then you can compare that to a Naman or a 360, right? When it comes up, right? So we aspire to make not only those large projects with large numbers like that, but even the smaller 1,000, 2,000 square meter plots to that level. Of course, with taking into account feasibility.
The coastal will help everybody, right? There's going to be a coastal coming out of at Otters.
Yeah.
There's going to be a coastal coming out of
Santacruz.
Prahlad. Pretty much there, police station के पास.
Yeah.
There's going to be a coastal coming out at Versova. So
it's a game changer.
Game
It's a game changer. This coastal road, as I said, your location is going to become agnostic. You could stay anywhere. You could stay in a bungalow in Kandivali, a 2-acre bungalow, and then drive to Bandra for a coffee. It's 15 minutes away.
I love that. मैं आपको वापस बुलाने वाला हूँ. क्यों? I'll tell you why. Because जब मैंने ये बोला था कि Bombay has become a one city, one price. It's going to go through a one city, one price phenomena. So people thought I'm drunk. मतलब ये पागल हो गया. But I actually said the same thing कि अब को ज़्यादा फर्क नहीं रहा. 20 साल पहले Santacruz to अंधेरी to कांदेरी में बहुत फर्क था.
There is a slight difference in the sense. I agree with you completely.
And hence I think quality of the building will matter more.
It'll be the location in the micro market which will be very important, and the quality of the project and the product that you can deliver on time. I think that will be the game changer, and of course your reputation and your branding also works a lot.
I think branding is a very foreign thing for developers, because people say, like, there are many developers in the market has put a patra up, no name, nothing, building has made people start living, right? It's a very foreign thing for developers, but as time goes, those who forget to brand, unless their product is exceptionally good, will be forgotten. So
on the same point that you just said, alien thing, right? मुझे genuine जैसा लगता है ना. Very, very happy you said what you're going to do, and I wish you all the best again.
Thank you so much.
See, seriously, but that's also an alien thing. It's going to be a hard sell to not put those things. You will put those in the brochure, but to put these and educate your consumer.
100%.
So it's going to be a hard sell, huh? You're going to be that first boy in the block जो ये करने वाला है. And उसको बेचना मतलब समझाना पड़ेगा कंज्यूमर को कि बाबा ये जरूरत है. It's going to help you.
Did you think you needed an iPhone when you had a BlackBerry in your hand? No, right?
I thought BlackBerry was awesome.
It was the best thing ever.
And then it just went doop.
Bang, off. It's the same thing like if you go to see Netflix to that Blockbuster. Right? Simple. So, I mean, I'm comparing it to very big things, but that's the future we see, that every development should take the city, the planet into account. But doing that will result in benefit for the people who live in there, right? So,
and another difficult question for you. ये सब ठीक है, मुझे खर्चा लगेगा, मैं ये करना चाहता हूँ, मैं टोरंटो से आया हूँ, सब सुनने में बहुत अच्छा लगा. But is the government giving you any extra FSI for doing this?
So
are you getting something that you're not telling us?
Inside MMR, there's no FSI incentive for a developer. It was very tough to convince my dad only. In fact, I called him from college saying, we have to make green buildings, Dad. It's the way of the future. He was like, पागल आदमी है तू. मैं ज़्यादा क्यों खर्चा करूँ?
अच्छा, पहले यहीं पे ही hard sell हो गया था.
हाँ, वही तो. I had to convince my own father to begin with, right? So if I can convince this man who's been in the industry for 40 years,
I'll answer
right?
that question. I think things are changing, and they have to change. And in the MMR itself, the BMC is also very, very strict, and that's a very, very good thing. Air quality, pollution. We don't want another Delhi happening.
Today, everyone, who keeps up with the real estate market and is a little, observant, will see that on sites there are AQI meters now. So they, not just AQI meters specifically, there's something called PM 2.5, which is when the particulate matter of the air is below 2.5 macrometers or centimeters. I don't know the exact
The technical term.
but when it goes below that and you breathe harmful AQI of that matter, it's worse for your health, right? Thus, the BMC has put a circular and told every developer to track it to see, what's the adverse effect of it, right? If you go to see any development, they will have that board, right? So the BMC had to do that to force developers to do it, but we are taking one step further and saying we'll do everything we can to make sure that this doesn't happen, right?
Outstanding.
So they've taken another very bold step, not bold step, a very necessary step that they've had many symposiums, a lot of workshops to educate us, the developers, how to control pollution within your site. So when he talks about better air quality, how do we protect that when we are doing construction around the area should be protected? So there are ways and methods of doing it, and that's what BMC wants as well.
Mr. Vadwani, I'm going to ask you a question. And young man, I'm going to ask you the same question. Yeah.
Yes.
अगर मेरा बस चलता तो मैं
Call me Samir. It's okay.
अच्छा समीर चलो.
हाँ.
Samir and Devansh. I'm going to ask you the same question. अगर मेरा बस चलता तो मैं मिस यूनिवर्स के जैसे मैं आपको वो कैप्सूल में बंद करके पूछता ताकि आप अपने ऐसा हो नहीं सकता अभी यहाँ पे, but I will try not to. हाँ, thank you. You think your buyer priorities have changed when you built your first project to when you built your last project, recent project, right? And I'm going to give you a set of 6 options. आपको उसको pecking order में डालने की कोशिश करना है, right? We spoke about this. I'm going to keep it as the number 1, surface parking.
Yes.
Number 2, the amenities. And amenities, particularly the gym, the swimming pool, the banquet, the garden, the jogging tracks.
Yes.
Number 3, I want large carpet areas and balconies.
Right.
Number 4, I want the best Italian marbles.
Right.
Right. Number 5, floor to ceiling height should be amazing. वो 9 feet नहीं चलेगा मुझे, 11, 12 जो आप दे सको. Sorry. And finally, the 6th one is dedicated to the young man, Devansh.
It sounded like a society web.
The green building with all the solars and all the rain harvesting and the IGBC and everything.
Right.
I can repeat them again if you want, but can you give me a pecking order of पहले क्या था अब क्या है?
I think pecking order would be first is parking.
अभी
भी.
So we'll do अभी first. अभी भी parking सबसे पहले.
I think आपका building जो है Sunbeam, they don't have surface parking at all.
Oh, the one that they're making new one? Oh God.
Okay. So how do you park your car there? You come into your building, get into a car lift, which takes you to a higher level, and then you get into another system of puzzle parking to park your car.
Chalo. So surface parking according to you is super important.
Parking is very, very important. And
then we had the Italian marble, we had the amenities, we have large balconies.
Number 2 would be height. Because height, if I was a member, it gives you a feeling of space.
Sure, सबको palaces चाहिए.
No, not a palace. When you have more height, it gives you a feeling of space, of openness. That is another very important point from a green perspective. Okay, when you have larger windows, you have more natural light, you have more sunshine. So that's important. And number 3 would be larger floor plates. It gives you again feeling of open. You have to pay for it, of course, but at the end of the day, budget होना चाहिए. So you have to. And so I would say those 3 are the most important. I think Italian marble is at the last end, end of it all.
Okay.
Those are the modular kitchen, your Italian marble and your faucets being ABCD brand. Those are nitty-gritties now.
That's been there, done that, बहुत हो गया. नहीं, but आपके पास आज तक कोई कंज्यूमर आया है जिसने बोला कि आपके पास सोलार नहीं तो मैं घर नहीं खरीदूंगा, आपके पास IGBC सर्टिफिकेट नहीं है तो मैं घर नहीं, ऐसा कभी हुआ है आज तक?
I think it's a matter of time before it happens, because
once he educates everybody,
and there is no education.
And spoils the market.
I think it will happen. Because people have not understood the benefits of this and the importance of
the benefits. If I can interject.
Please. No, you have to answer the same. You have to answer.
I'll answer, of course. But I think one thing that having all these things in place does, it reduces your maintenance cost. When you go into looking at redevelopment specifically, the people who already live in there, right? that is a big worry for them कि नया building आ जाएगा, but will I be able to maintain the cost of the new building, right? So we're helping the rehab component people make it a little affordable for them at the same time. So that's, maybe you can't see it now, but hopefully through our endeavors we can show the difference, the difference it makes for a rehab member as well as people coming above, right? Your outgoings are reducing, you can use that money somewhere else, right? You can put it in a corpus, you can have events in the building, you can do things for the children living in the building rather than, you know, having to pay more for electricity, right? So obviously that's one thing, but to summarize, I don't think that someone will look at, oh, मैं खाली green building लूँगा कि ऐसा करूँगा. It's a culmination of it all, right? So we aren't selling only luxury to the market, right? We are selling responsible luxury, right? Do you want to be a responsible citizen and help the city grow in a responsible manner? Then you buy from us, right? Then you create that want to buy from us. So you may ask me, what is responsible luxury? It's when sustainable thinking meets luxurious developments, right? It's, you are making life easier for yourself, also for the neighborhood around you, right? And for the people who live below you.
Nice.
That is the point of it.
And Samir, इसका तो पहला project अभी आना बाकी है, तो I'm going to exempt him from this question, but I'm going to ask you, in this life of a developer,
Yes.
and you've lived that life quite long enough to answer this question, सबसे मुश्किल काम क्या है? Land identify करना, approval लाना, बेचना कि बनाना?
I think land is a thing of money, पैसे.
पैसा है तो खरीद
हो सकता
नहीं,
है.
उसको आइडेंटिफाई करना कि बाबा यहाँ पे
नहीं
बिक जाएगा.
That is very important. Of course, you analyze it.
नहीं, important नहीं, सबसे मुश्किल क्या है? बनाना, बेचना, अप्रूवल लाना कि लैंड खरीदना?
I would say approvals. To negotiate the maze of approvals, if you can do that and master it, you're a master.
Wow. So that's number one, most
That's number
difficult.
one.
And second?
I would say the, acquisition of land, where you analyze it the correct way. So there are three things, the 3 J's, which my father told me, which you get without money.
Oh, I like that.
Okay.
Like मोदी से मिलके क्या? मोदी जी से कल. वो ये बहुत acronym में लिखा. 3 J's. What are the 3 J's?
Joru.
Huh?
Joru, your wife. Jameen and Jaidad.
That's new.
Okay.
Can you please tell me more about
So
this?
it's all about when your wife, what you can acquire as property, and the third, what you can inherit. It is here. It is not with money. So as you said, land, how difficult is it to acquire? I would say that with money alone you can't buy it. It has to be in your naseeb.
And I've heard this many times before. So
But my father used to always tell me this.
Really believes it, yeah.
So इसके पास अभी तीनों ही नहीं है. ना बीवी है, ना inherit आएगा, सब आएगा पर. सब आएगा. It's all coming.
I know you didn't want my answer, but can I give you an answer for redevelopment specific?
Oh, please.
So personally, through my experience of being a part of the industry for the last maybe 1.5, 2 years, right? Building Vaayu, creating it, I think the redevelopment industry in particular, the tendering process needs to be more streamlined, right? And by that I mean that there are many stakeholders that give their time, effort, money, bandwidth into making a redevelopment happen, right? It may be a PMC, it may be channel partners, it's obviously society members living in it, developers, right? A single redevelopment tender could take up to 6 months and also 2 years, right? So societies, PMCs, developers need to take into account the effort going into making it happen, and we should come up with a streamlined way, timelines to get these things done, right? So that we can work in an ethical and respectful manner. I don't know if you can understand exactly what I'm saying, but I think it's very important. And if that happens, I think redevelopments will happen at a much faster pace, and people and developers can also then focus more on the product that they're making, right? I think it's a very, very important thing.
No, it will be a win-win for everyone. The consumers will get newer, what are reset.
Correct.
It's
the
a
building,
reset,
it's
yeah.
a reset. It's a reset for BMC also.
100%.
क्योंकि पुरानी बिल्डिंग में कितना प्रॉपर्टी टैक्स मिल रहा है? 2 रुपया. नई बिल्डिंग सर डबल कैसे? आज तो 15 रुपए के नीचे कुछ है ही नहीं.
In the sense, your total quantum goes up.
Yeah. So it's a win. You get business. I get a house. The government gets their taxes. And मैं तो GST और वो तो मैं stamp तो भर गिनी भी नहीं रहा हूँ.
Even the premiums today are very high.
See, so it's a win. Right? So it's happening. But you're saying it can be a little more streamlined, easier.
Have some timelines in place that are meant to be adhered to.
तो जो हमारे सबसे फेवरेट है मोदी जी जो बोलते हैं ease of doing business, that has to happen to real estate.
Yes.
It has happened, but we need to probably take faster steps.
I think maybe 20 years ago when my dad joined the business, there was zero ease. Today there's 15-20% ease and people are loving it, but they've never felt anything higher, so they can't even like look at it, right? When you go to the Western world, it's so much easier to become a developer also, right? So we should open gates to the people who want to get into the business, who want to profit from the business, who want to help out in the business and streamline the process.
Chalo, I know that we were talking about Bandra and we spoke at length and now we've told the world how much we love Bandra. But so ये जो ट्रायो है, इसके बाहर आप कभी भी गए हो? Have you built anything outside this trio?
Absolutely.
Can you spend 2 minutes on it?
So this is a micro market that is our micro market. But in the past we built from South Mumbai till Virar.
What?
Yes, we've done projects in Malabar Hill, which is Ajanta Apartments.
Okay.
And right up to Virar, which is in Virat Nagar. So it's not that we've not gone out. We recently completed a project about 5-7 years in there east, very close to
where we are right now.
Currently.
Yeah,
that's.
But always residential.
Residential.
Always residential.
Mixed. Our
we've also
latest
done a
project was a
project
residential commercial project, so mixed.
When you say commercial, you mean ground floor retail or
Yes,
office?
Retail.
What the boss?
We've done offices also in Santacruz East.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sir, retail की तो बात करते ही नहीं है because I'm so bullish on it कि मतलब मैं भावुक हो जाऊंगा because again to my favorite gentleman again the famous PM.
Yes.
एक वो रोज बोलते हैं 140 करोड़ लोग रहते हैं इस कंट्री में.
Right.
तो आपको जूता बेचना है, बाल काटने हैं, चश्मा बेचना है, कपड़ा बेचना है, यहीं बेचना पड़ेगा, not Greece and Italy.
100%.
So retail has to rock. So I hope Vaayu One has some retail. I know you're not on the main road, but you're pretty much there.
No,
you're like
Vaayu-
skipping from Hill Road.
Vaayu One is in a complete residential area.
So
There's
no
not-
retail.
No retail.
You're in the gully, right?
No, we're one of the only 18 plots that face the park directly, right?
So there's no retail there.
No
I agree.
retail.
I know.
In fact, but there is retail, 2 plots on the left, but it's a salon.
Because you're kissing distance from Hill Road.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
very close to Turner Road, Carter
Yeah,
Road.
yeah, you're
But
there.
what you said so correctly is that retail is the future in terms of a business perspective, and we are looking at retail very actively.
Double
Of
the
course.
price of ऊपर. ऊपर अगर 50,000 है तो नीचे 1 लाख नीचे तो बात ही मत करो.
आराम से.
Right?
सही है.
So, and I was shocked when I heard. I remember talking to Ayushi Asher Group, and she said, "Thana 3 हाथ नाका is 1 lakh rupees." I said, Ayushi, just because it's your project.
That's amazing.
आप आ जाओ देख लो.
नहीं देखो नहीं वो she's telling me तेरे से क्या छुपा है तू तो डेटा निकाल लेगा ना IGR से
हाँ, सही
तो मैं
तो है।
आपसे तो झूठ भी नहीं बोल सकते. I said Ayushi thank you record करो इसको.
सही है.
But anyway, sorry. Why are people, and because you also mentioned this, right? And I'm a little envious of that कि सब high rises वर्ली में क्यों हैं? You know the skyline. You know कोई भी city की skyline बनती है तो कितना अच्छा लगता है ना? न्यूयॉर्क.
सही है.
It feels nice.
Dubai.
सपना भी होना चाहिए. Why are people paying such high premiums for these 40th, 50th floor? क्योंकि खंडाला घर में आ जाता है in the 3 months of monsoon इसीलिए कि और कोई कारण है?
I think it's a different feel.
आप कौन से फ्लोर पे रहते हो?
I don't stay on a higher floor.
क्योंकि आप बैंड्रा में रहते हो.
Yes, but
क्या है? What is the big deal?
I've been to apartments which are like 37th floor and 55th floor.
हाँ.
It's a different feel.
नहीं different feel but वही खंडाला in my house, right? In those 3 months.
You get a 360-degree view of the city. You feel.
Sir, 360 तो बेलिसिमो में भी था फिर वहाँ में कुछ zero हो गया.
अभी zero हो गया ना.
तो
But like I normally.
But that's
say
a bad case. Special case, bad case.
Never a sea view in Bombay unless you're on a Carter Road or a Marine Drive.
The first plot ahead of the sea, because otherwise
ठीक
you
है,
will get blocked.
that's a bad example. But you're saying it's the Khandala and this wonderful sea view, 180, 360, 270, whatever the number is.
I'll tell you, Bombay is a linear city.
Absolutely.
The only way that you can build is up. You don't have land. You don't have those 2-storied bungalows anymore. They are all now 7 stories and maybe 2 stories which were old now also getting redeveloped. So all are going to be high rise. And the choice is obviously to live higher It's your practical approach to living. Higher you are, the more calm, better.
The hustle bustle of the city goes away, right?
नहीं नहीं, okay, चलो fine. मैं कभी रहा नहीं हूँ, but I'll give you that respect and space that you know it. But what about these 20 minutes to go up down the elevator?
That can be mitigated. You can have high-speed elevators and stuff like that. And increase the number of.
No,
You've heard this story, right? गोरेगांव का project.
हाँ, मालूम है.
उसमें सबसे हाई स्पीड एलिवेटर भी रहता है, तभी भी 20 मिनट लग जाता है, I'm sure. Like,
क्योंकि there's somebody pressing something,
हाँ.
there's some courier वाला pressing all the floors, some naughty kid like you know those in the Hollywood movies pressing.
Yes. That's a one-off thing, I think, but yeah, it does.
But it's great and fun to live on the top.
It's a better option, I would say. Yeah.
So now we come to the fun part, which is the rapid fire round without the hamper. इससे पहले आप पूछो, उसके पहले मैंने बता दिया. But we should actually do that. I feel bad.
you can send it to our
It's going to
So
come
we're
to
going
the
to-
same place anyways.
So Samir, we're going to begin with you first.
Yeah.
In today's times, for Mumbai, and it's an expensive city.
Yeah.
Like जैसे बोलते हैं ना, न्यूयॉर्क में आपको घर नहीं खरीदना चाहिए, आप भाड़े पे रहो. Right? इतनी महंगी सिटी है.
वो
For-
बहुत यहाँ पे
बहुत,
निकल
हाँ.
का मत बोलता है.
Correct? Yeah. And he bought a house.
The
in
man
Mumbai.
with the data rules it all.
What would you recommend? Buy or rent?
Definitely buy.
May I
Not
know
because
why?
I'm a developer, but
Huh.
because when you rent, your rent goes down the drain. When you're buying, if you take a loan also, well, your EMI gets converted to an outgoing towards your flat, and it gets monetized.
Personally, now you have to recommend this to from a long-term investment perspective, plot or an apartment.
Definitely plot.
बॉम्बे में रहने के बावजूद
Plot.
बॉम्बे में तो सब प्लॉट ही नहीं है.
That's where the differentiation comes in.
Wow. One controversial, now this is going to be tricky, trick question. One controversial and unpopular opinion that you have on this wonderful thing which is reshaping Bombay called redevelopment.
As he correctly said in the past, he mentioned it that the streamlining of the process of redevelopment needs to change and have more, it takes almost 1.5 years to reach from the stage of tendering till you actually get the project. So a lot of stakeholders and everybody has to come together, but it has to be streamlined, I would say. It is unpopular, but that's the truth.
A project of another developer that you secretly wished you had made or created.
This is an interesting one.
That's an interesting question. But I would say there's a project on Turner Road, which was a heritage bungalow earlier. And now they've incorporated those features into the new building, and which gives it a great look,
One line that you would want your competitors to remember you for or your brand for.
Right. It should be my handshake, I would say.
नहीं वो सनी डोल जैसा हैंडशेक है कि is the word you mean?
That's for you to right or wrong.
That was the best answer. No, you'll have to do something better than that.
I hope I can.
The handshake of Samir Wadhwani
Right.
is enough. मेरी आवाज ही मेरी पहचान है, मेरा हैंडशेक ही मेरी पहचान है.
That's your contract.
Beautiful. Bandra or Worli, your pick.
Bandra boy, Bandra.
But then you did so much तारीफ of Worli in the entire conversation. Skyline वहाँ पे है, construction वहाँ पे अच्छा
I have
है.
an opinion, but I can also appreciate.
So Bandra.
Yeah, of course.
High rise. So if you were given 50 crore rupees, will you make a heritage / kind of a bungalow G+1, G+2, or would you still want to make a high rise of 20 story?
So that heritage bungalow, it's a G+20 only.
Ah,
Yeah. Only the first 3-4 floors are in the shape of that bungalow and have that similar facade, a little updated, right? So if I was given, let's say you gave me 50 crores, right?
That won't be enough, but
Yeah, but chalo, jitna bhi. I'd say it depends on location, etc., all those factors, but I'd create a home that for the next 20 years, or building for the next 20 years, it doesn't feel like it was made 20 years ago.
wow. Stand-alone building or township?
In Khas Bandra, Santacruz to standalone is as good as a township. Never gonna get a township like.
But अगर कभी आगे Bandra से बाहर जाओगे, because you
in
built.
terms of in scope of sustainability, you can do so much with a township that can be so beneficial to the people who live in it and the neighborhood. So it would be a dream, of course, to
that's
eventually
the
get
aim.
into townships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
जब से I was heading research at Jones and LaSalle, तब से हम ये रोए जा रहे हैं, बोले जा रहे हैं, tier 1 versus tier 2, right? And there's a tier 2 store in India. Now, I want to hear from a 22-year-old guy who's coming from Canada. I know you're a Bandra guy, not I'm going to even confine you to a Bandra guy, not even a Bombay guy.
Yeah.
Right? So you're a tier 1, maybe tier 1 ka tier 1. The queen of tier 1. Right? Fir bhi, as an Indian, is there a tier 2 story? Tier 1 versus tier 2?
As an Indian, I would say that there is a large difference in certain individuals who earn a certain way, and there's a large difference in the other side of the spectrum. So you can't say that there's no tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, but our job as developers should be to accommodate and create homes and spaces for all tiers to enjoy and create memories in, right? We shouldn't segregate, right? So that's one thing that Vaayu looks at doing very, very actively, is not only go into the ultra HNI luxury market and create homes for those who pay me well. It's the point of Vaayu is to create spaces that match that area and can be foundations for all types of people, for all Indians in fact.
One bold message you would want it to go viral amongst your peers which are building Mumbai's next skyline.
So I would say that Mumbai doesn't need only more buildings, it needs better ones, because remember that the planet is also watching.
Once again, I wish you all the very best.
Thank you so much.
To you, to Vaayu Realty.
Yes.
Please make more sustainable, and you know it better. But seriously, I think we need it, right? क्योंकि जितना भी floods हो रहे हैं ना, climate change is real. We can see it.
I mean, look at 2020. सब कुछ रुक गया. The skies were bluer, oceans were
correct,
breathing better.
So all gandagi we have done. So it's time at
Us
least
as humans.
something back.
Yeah, definitely.
ठीक है. So before we say goodbye for now,
Right.
By the way, it was wonderful chatting up with you. Any parting remark for anybody, whether it's your competition, whether it's your consumer, whether it's me, anybody who works in this real estate sphere. आपको कुछ बोलना
make it a little more generic. I would say that we've built for 60 years strong structures, and going forward, I would say we're going to build buildings which breathe well.
Oh!
From a sustainability perspective.
Awesome. Young man?
Hearing that made me really, really proud, honestly. That speaking about Vaayu like that. But if I had to say something, I think it applies to everyone. Everyone's affected by real estate. Don't be greedy. Because I feel like that affects a lot of deals, and people out of greed tend to do things that are not ethical, and that skew a lot of people's lives. May they not understand it, may they understand it. So greed can be the downfall of a lot of people.
I say this on events, and I really want to support this sentence, and I'm still digesting what you just said. That to all my developer friends, please make homes for fellow Indians, not for yourself and your ego.
100%. I agree.
And that's where the problem starts.
I'll tell you my line, my single line
Gee.
is, make homes not for yourself.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
You make homes what the market wants. Because we are in the business of development, and we are making to sell, not for ourselves. I have to say a few things that, you've really contributed to the business of real estate in a very large way, because a developer today knows what's happening around them because of the data that is available. So that's a very, very interesting aspect of real estate that you've contributed to.
Thank you.
Enough glazing.
But such a pleasure.